Over the past couple months, a few friends of mine have asked me how I read so many books at once, and so I thought, hey, I will share my tips in this video. There's a lot of benefits to reading multiple books at a time. I'm really used to it because I've been doing it for so many years. But some of the things that you'll see is, first, you will definitely read more books throughout the year because you have multiple books going. Also, it'll help keep you motivated. It'll keep you motivated because you have a variety of books that you're reading, which is really important because you're not always in the mood for reading a certain kind of book. So having a couple going at a time is really helpful. It also helps you to quit books. So I did a whole video on how to read more books throughout the year, and one of the tips was to quit. Now, obviously, that's not my go-to piece of advice to tell people to quit, but oftentimes when people start reading a book, they feel like they have to start it and finish it. You don't have to do that. So if you're reading multiple books at a time, you feel a little less badly about tossing the one that you really didn't get into. Okay, here are some things that help me read multiple books at a time. First, choose books in different genres. So I have to be in the mood for a specific kind of book. That's why I like having multiple books going at a time. So for example, right now I am reading Measure What Matters by John Dewar. This is a business book. It is all about what are you measuring in your business. We're talking about OKRs. It's very business related. This is what I'm using to really help me improve in my role as a CEO and of course to help my team get better. I'm also reading a book called Letting Go by David Hawkins. That is more of a personal development, spiritual kind of book. So that's more about, well, the name kind of says it all, letting go. This is about how do you let go of some of those negative past experiences, some of those thoughts that we keep kind of holding us back from pursuing and doing the things that we really want to do, and just let those things go in order to help us move forward in a more positive way. And so that's kind of what that book is all about. I also just picked up Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, and this was something that I've heard so many incredible things about this book over the years, and I finally got it. I finally thought I have to dig into it. I just keep hearing it so much from my friends. And so I got that book. And I'm also reading I Heard God Laugh by Matthew Kelly. So this is a quick short read. Again, this one's more on the spiritual side. And I also really love biographies and autobiographies. So I am in the middle of Michelle Obama's memoir, Becoming. And so all of these are very different books, right? So I'm not getting the ideas from Big Magic and Measure What Matters confused. They are very different, and I need to be in a different mood to read that kind of a business book. And then maybe when I need some more inspiration to go to Big Magic to get some ideas, to kind of have a different viewpoint on something, and just to help my brain, the other side of my brain, work a little bit. Number 2, read books on different platforms. So for those of you that know me, you know I love my audiobooks. I am a big fan of Audible and Scribd to listen to books. And there's just something about, I'm usually listening to 1 or 2 books and then reading 1 or 2 books physically. So there's just something about different books that I really get into differently. And it also helps to create a separation between the different ideas in the books. When you're listening to the author or whoever it is that's reading the audiobook, there's just something that you remember that book in a different way than when you're reading it. Also on your Kindle or on another app that you can read, I just find that it does help to kind of compartmentalize the different ideas if you're reading books on different platforms. Number 3, remember there's no time limit. There's no time limit to reading these books. I used to get really anxious because I would start a book and feel like, oh my gosh, I have to get through it. I have to finish it. And hey, unless you're part of a book club or you're reading the book for a purpose and there's a deadline, there's no time limit on reading these books. So there's a number of books that I have on my bookshelf or on my nightstand that I'm halfway through or a quarter through, or I just started. And maybe that just wasn't the book for me at that time. And so I can come back to it later. And so that's too why I feel like I'm always reading multiple books, because sometimes I'll start reading a book, it's not really resonating with me, I'll give it a couple months and then I'll go back to it. And then maybe I start over, or maybe I pick up where I left off. But just knowing that, there are so many amazing books out there that you can just pick up, read a couple pages and get what you need out of it. So that is something that is it's so freeing to know that you can read multiple books. You don't even have to finish all of the books, especially if you don't like them, if it's not resonating with you and if it's not what you need at that time, but it might be in the next couple of months or even years later. These are just a few things that help me read multiple books at a time. I would love to hear from you. Do you read multiple books? Do you find it confusing? Do you like it? How many books can you handle at once? Comment below and let me know. I would love to hear from you. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. And I would also love for you to subscribe to my channel so we can stay connected. I will see you next time.